This video is only for educational purposes only.
Thank you.
Alright, consciousness. What would you like to talk about today?
I'd like to talk about being conscious in the world. It's one of those, either you're comfortable with it or you're not. Either you're real comfortable with it at home, but not in the world. It's real easy to be conscious at home or at church or wherever you do your spiritual stuff, or if spiritualness isn't your thing, but you still can be a conscious person. But being that in the world is is hard for anyone, including conscious people, holding that consciousness wherever you go, and being able to go to work, go to the grocery store, be in all the other things you do in your life, even at the park, just consciousness, keeping that alive within you, and it's a reciprocal relationship, and it flows through you, and so people are attracted to that, and they don't know what it is, but they want more of it, and so that you can hold them up and give them that, and whatever their need is, and that consciousness. It's not like you lay your hands on them in healing. It's just by talking to them from the heart and not from the ego.
Yeah.
No, I was just being a conscious person in the world, and being able to be in the workforce, and being neighborly, being friendly to everyone equally. Not that you're better than me or I'm better than anyone else. I'm far from that. We're all equal. We're all one. And so with that being on a heart level, everyone is that I encounter is able to approach me. And once you can approach someone, you're able to get that trust factor. And once that trust factor is going, then you can bring in that consciousness. And it makes it easier when you're that open.
Yeah, you're just there holding the space for others to come. They feel your energy.
Mm-hmm.
So they want reassurance on the path. A lot of them are. And if you're there in conscious person, they can sense that consciousness.
Yes.
And see that.
Yes, absolutely. Even when you're walking in the park, and there's a beautiful park not too far from here, and if you go real early in the morning or in the afternoon, doesn't really matter. There's wild animals. If you're walking consciously, they just come out. When I'm out back gardening, the birds and the squirrels and eagles, and they just come because they also feel that consciousness. And so it's not just for humans, it's for the animals as well. And I talk to my plants. When I'm planting my plants, I talk to them because that's consciousness. I'm loving them up enough so that they'll grow, and they'll grow in love.
Yes.
And so it's just like when I cook. When I cook for myself, it's love first. And I'm feeding myself my own love. And when I have people over, I'm cooking for them. It's love first. And when they taste it, they taste love. So when you bring love first as a first thing that you do for yourself, and you give that out freely to everyone, they want that. People miss that. They forgot what that was. because the ego has taken over in the world. And the ego is emotions, and it's not from the heart, which is the true feeling. And when it's come from a true feeling from the heart, that's what everyone desires.
Yes. Yeah, I see the ego as a surviving mechanism from the caveman days. So I think a lot of people are still trying to survive with the rat race, 8 to 5 job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're here to change.
Yeah, I see that because, you know, there's been so much destruction in the last 70 years, 80, 100 years with machinery and now technology. Even though it's a wonderful thing and we're able to do a lot, it has done a lot of damage to the world. And consciously turning that around and using those tools in a conscious manner is helping the world achieve a lot than of the destruction we have done in the last 70 years.
Yes.
But it's a fearful consciousness to many because they're afraid of what somebody's going to think about them, say about them, when it really doesn't matter what people think or say. It's all about how you are with yourself, and so that you are able to help anyone. And if you're not conscious and true to yourself, you can't help yourself and you can't help anyone else. I mean, you can physically, but not in a way to where some people need it, which is in the feeling stage. You know, there's difference between emotions and feelings, and most of the world works on emotions. And when you divide those two between them and say, this is a trigger, that's an emotion, and then when they come true, it's from the heart. And when you divide that and let them know that and see the difference, you see them sink in and think about that and feel that. And when you feel that and you can divide the difference, that's consciousness. That's helping, that's showing, that's growing. That's what the world needs. And if we can get out of the emotion and go into the feeling, and that's consciousness, and it will help your family, when you're, you know, who, yourself, the people you work with, people you encounter with whatever you do in your passion outside your home. It's just one of those, it's just something I desire to do every day.
Yes.
You know, I can't say that I go and I help people and I want them to do that. That's, if they have that desire, they will do that.
Yes.
You know, they can, once they get that feeling, they want more of it. They want it. They want it to grow. They want it to expand because it feels good. They feel good. They want others to feel good too. And it's wonderful to be able to know that and to give that away freely to whomever is willing to listen. It's just seeds planted, and whoever wants to grow will grow.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. You talk about dualism, I guess, living in ego and living in spirit. There's two worlds that we have trouble. A lot of us have trouble living, walking that path.
Yes.
Both paths.
Yes, it is dualism, and it's talking on dualism and being in the ego is basically the emotion, and the feeling is spiritual because it's from the heart. And it's hard for many people to define the difference between the two. and mostly in America, they're ego driven. And it's sad to see that. And not that I never was there. I mean, I was a victim myself. I mean, when I was awakened, I went, wow. It was a big slap in the face, like, ooh, I was full of that. I was full of the ego. I was full of the emotions. And raising children in that, and the damage that was done to them because of where I was, I was in an emotional state and not a feeling state. I was in an ego. I see that, see the damage that I did to them as they were younger, and trying to fix that pattern and break those patterns as I got older so that they would see that you can break patterns and break them down, and that you can change. Every year you do change, and it helps break down that emotion, that ego. If you go with that ebb and flow change that happens to everyone every 7 years. And if you get, that's when a lot stuck in the rut, making that groove, making one more groove. That's your people say that out of pun, but it's not. It's totally true, because if you're around somebody in their 70s, but they act like they're 15 or 16 mentality-wise, that's because they're stuck in the rut. They're stagnant because they weren't able to get out of the ego, get out of the emotion, so that emotion ended up controlling them and their life.
That's a good point. Good point. Nice. Yeah, that's good that as a parent, you're a conscious parent, that you program your children or don't program. You're aware of that. Not too many parents are aware of that they program negative programs to the children.
Right.
And I wish that for everyone to know from this video out in the worldwide that the children latch on to you. They're like the role models to you.
Yes. I mean, you are their guide, you are their teacher until they are 18.
Yes.
And, I wasn't that great of a parent when they were growing up, and but I was the best parent. I don't even want to say that, but I helped myself out of situations the best I can to let my children know that you can get out of any situation by a feeling, not an emotion. But being a parent, a good parent, to me, was letting them go and be who they truly are to be in this world on their own journey, without me being in control of anything of their lives. That's setting them free in love. And children nowadays are coming in more conscious than they ever have been, because the world is now open for them to be free and to help them, to lift them up. And the children already see the light, they know the love, and the only disconnect is the misprogramming. And then once the children become 8 years old, they're questioning themselves. Like, I felt that, but now I don't feel that anymore. And that's when consciousness of a parent, of letting the children be free with boundaries, and who they really are, true to themselves. That's who they become, a good person in the world, with feelings, not emotions, with consciousness.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that right now in my sister and her son, her older son, that they're battling. Her son is battling, I guess, between himself or his parents' wishes. And it is sad to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you for your time and knowledge, wisdom.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No,